You never think it will be you, sitting alone at the table. Not really. When you say your vows, till death do us part, you know it's technically part of the deal, but in your heart you imagine something different. Maybe you'll both go peacefully in your sleep one day, holding hands like in the movies. Or maybe, if you're honest, you secretly hope you go first, so you never have to face the silence. But life doesn't always work that way. My name is Thomas. I'm 83 years old, and 6 years ago I lost the woman I spent 51 years with. Her name was Margaret. She wasn't just my wife, she was my best friend, my memory when mine failed me, the only person who could finish my sentences and still laugh after all those years. When she passed away, it felt like the whole world shifted a few inches off center. Everything looked the same, but nothing felt right anymore. The strange shape of grief. For a long time, I thought I wouldn't make it. I'd wake up some mornings forgetting she was gone. I'd reach out in the dark, expecting to feel her there. And when my hand touched nothing but the empty sheets, the truth would crash back into me like cold water. Grief is strange like that. It doesn't follow a schedule. It appears in unexpected places. In the grocery store, when you see their favorite tea. In the quiet morning light, hitting their side of the bed that's perfectly undisturbed. People told me time would heal it. They said I just needed to move on. But those people had never loved someone the way I loved Margaret. You don't move on from a love like that. You move forward, if you're lucky. And over the last 6 years, I've learned some things, hard things, things I wish someone had told me during those long, sleepless nights when everything felt meaningless. So today, I want to share 5 things you should never do when your spouse passes before you. Not because there's a rule book for grief, but because these are the mistakes I made, and I wouldn't wish that pain on anyone. Don't isolate yourself. The day after Margaret's funeral, I sat in my recliner and turned on the television. I couldn't tell you what was playing. I just needed noise. Any noise was better than the silence. The phone rang. I didn't answer. My daughter knocked on the door. I pretended to be asleep. Neighbors brought food. I left the casserole sitting on the counter until they spoiled. I didn't want company. I didn't want small talk. And I definitely didn't want people telling me she was in a better place. The only place I wanted her was right beside me. But here's what I didn't understand back then. Isolation doesn't protect you from grief. It feeds it. I thought being alone would dull the pain. Instead, it made it sharper, like a wound that never gets air. Weeks passed. I wasn't living anymore. I was just existing. Then one afternoon, my neighbor Henry, stubborn old man that he is, knocked on my door over and over until I finally opened it. He didn't give a speech. He didn't offer advice. He simply handed me a thermos of coffee and said, "Come sit with me on the porch." So we did. We sat there, quietly, and for the first time in weeks, I didn't feel completely alone. Sometimes healing begins with something that simple. Just another person sitting beside you. Don't make big decisions too soon. After Margaret died, I wanted to erase everything that reminded me of her. I thought if I sold the house, moved somewhere new, donated all her things, maybe the pain would follow her out the door. I almost did it. Boxes were packed. A real estate agent was ready. Then one night, my daughter, Lily, sat down beside me and said something I'll never forget. She said, "Dad, you don't have to outrun your memories. You just have to learn to sit with them." She was right. Grief makes everything feel urgent.
It convinces you that drastic change will somehow quiet the pain. But that's the worst time to make life-changing decisions. So I stayed. I kept the house. I kept the books. And slowly those things stopped hurting quite so much. Margaret's handwriting in the margins, her favorite scarf still hanging in the closet, the chipped coffee mug she refused to replace. Those weren't just objects, they were echoes of a life we built together. So give yourself time. Don't rush to sell. Don't rush to move. Don't rush into another relationship. Let the storm settle first. Then decide what your next chapter should look like. Don't neglect your health. After Margaret passed, I stopped caring for myself. I barely ate. Maybe half a banana for breakfast, a piece of toast for dinner. I lost 15 pounds in a month without trying. I skipped my heart medication, missed my doctor's appointments. Part of me thought, what's the point? Then one morning I collapsed in the kitchen. My daughter rushed me to the hospital. The doctor looked me straight in the eye and said something that hit me like lightning. He said, "Your wife didn't die so you could follow her out of neglect." That sentence changed something in me. Taking care of myself wasn't just about me, it was about the people who still loved me. Your spouse may be gone, but you are still here. Your heart still beats, your lungs still breathe, and that matters. So eat real meals, take your medication, go to the doctor, walk outside, sleep when you can. Grief drains the body, but caring for yourself is a quiet way of saying, I choose to keep living. Don't pretend you're okay. For months I played the role of the strong widower. I smiled at neighbors, said, I'm doing fine every time someone asked, but inside I was drowning. Then one afternoon my grandson found me kneeling in the garden beside Margaret's rose bush. He put his tiny hand on mine and said, You miss Grandma, huh? I couldn't answer. I just nodded, and then I cried, really cried, the kind of crying that shakes your whole body. Months of grief pouring out at once. And strangely, I felt lighter afterwards, because grief isn't weakness. Tears aren't failure. They're proof that love existed. When we hide our pain, we delay healing. So talk to someone, a friend, a pastor, a therapist, a support group, anyone. Let the grief speak, because honesty is far lighter than pretending. Don't forget you're still here for a reason. This is the hardest lesson. After Margaret died, I felt like my purpose died with her. She was the reason for everything. Our routines, our plans, our laughter. Without her, life felt empty. But slowly, small things started catching my attention again. My grandson's laugh, the smell of morning coffee, sunlight on the kitchen floor. Eventually, I started volunteering at the local library, reading stories to children, fixing bikes for kids in the neighborhood, giving away Margaret's cookbooks to young couples just starting their lives. And in those moments, I felt something strange. I felt her presence. Your spouse may be gone, but you are still here. That means you still have something to give. Wisdom, kindness, stories, love. You carry them with you, always. Final thought. If you're going through this right now, I'm truly sorry. Losing your life partner is one of the hardest things a person can experience. But you're not broken, you're grieving, and that's the price we pay for loving deeply. One day at a time, one step at a time, keep moving forward. Because love doesn't disappear when someone dies, it simply changes form. And somewhere, in ways we may never fully understand, the people we loved are still walking beside us. If this story spoke to you, please consider liking the video. And if you'd like to hear more reflections from someone who's walked this road before, consider subscribing, because no matter how lonely grief feels, you're not alone, and you're doing better than you think.